Hello, everybody. Welcome to Speed Force Media. My name is Derek, and today we are talking about the great news that we got today that Jason Voorhees will, in fact, be in the upcoming series Crystal Lake. Now, it was reported on Halloween that they were developing a Crystal Lake series, contrary to what has been reported the last few years, or at least rumored the last few years, that they were working on a Friday the 13th movie and trying to figure out all of the contractual issues in court. And it looks like maybe there's some sort of loopholes by doing it on a TV series instead, because Peacock has put this series into order. Due to the previously reported on legal troubles with the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise, many were concerned that the show would not be able to use certain things like the name Friday the 13th or adult Jason, even child Jason, being able to use the hockey mask, the machete. All of those things are issues when you are trying to make a Friday the 13th movie. But speaking with Fangoria in a new interview, Brian Fuller teased that everything from the feature films is on the table and be able to be used, meaning grown-up, hockey mask wearing Jason Voorhees, baby. Not just the child version, not the snake, nothing like that. We can go to hell, we can go to space. That's not to say that we'll do those things, although if we do go 10 seasons, I'll be lobbying hard to go to space, Brian Fuller said. He continued, A24 and Mark Toberoff, who is Victor Miller's lawyer, have beautifully and excruciatingly assembled all of the Friday the 13th rights, which is something that we have been waiting years, literally over a decade, to hear someone say this from a studio. This is great fucking news. As a streaming series, we have the rights to do everything underneath the Friday the 13th umbrella. So yes, it sounds like under a streaming platform, they are able to go through kind of a loophole system of some sort. The movie rights are a completely different thing. They are tied up at New Line and are super, super messy and probably won't be untangled anytime soon. But as far as us chickens in the television industry, roost. We have access to anything and everything that Friday the 13th has done up until this point. Fuller also opened up on the nature of the show, as it has been reported as a prequel to the movies, or is it actually going to be somewhat of its own thing? Kind of like how the Hannibal series that Brian Fuller was in charge of was in fact a prequel to Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs, but in another way, it was also something completely different, and it even at times went past that and expanded the mythology and took things in new directions, and it was a drama series, yes, but it was a very engaging, well-thought-out, high-budget show. Now, obviously, it didn't have hundreds of millions of dollars backed into it, so it's not high-budget, anything like that, and this series won't be anything like that either, but Brian Fuller did say that this new show will have roughly 5 times the per episode budget that they had on Hannibal. And it sounds like also because of the huge bidding war that they had for this show pitched to multiple different streaming services, Peacock was the one that blew everybody else out of the water reportedly. So it's kind of a 2-season commitment, Fuller said, but really just the first season commitment. But because it's so expensive, they're really hoping that we knock it out of the park with our writing, is basically what he's saying. Finally, Fuller teased that the series would be pretty murderous, and he thinks that they'll be dropping bodies every episode. So this kind of goes against everything that was reported yesterday, with it being a drama, with it being a thriller, and with being no Jason allowed, with maybe just being focused on Pamela or focused on the Crystal Lake itself. It sounds like, yes, those things will still be there, but you're also able to use Jason. If you want to use aspects from Jason Goes to Hell or Jason X or the final chapter, Jason Lives, you can use all of it, even the reboot. You can do anything. Complete creative control. You don't have to be tied down to the movies. You don't have to fit into some other sort of timeline or canon, and you can take this in a completely fresh new direction. You don't even have to introduce Pamela, which is something great, something amazing, and something that this franchise needs to revitalize it and get it in the modern day light again. It will absolutely be recognizable for the hardcore Friday the 13th fans, but will also have an appeal to people who are simply interested in top shelf TV storytelling, Fuller explained. Which, again, if you have seen the Hannibal series, it's not just for people who are fans of those movies or those books. It's for people who just like good television. And it sounds like it's going to be kind of appealing to everybody, which is a great way to keep this character and this franchise relevant. But what do you guys think about this news? I think this, personally, myself, I'm super excited. I think this is great news that we're going to have a TV series focused on Jason. Even if it takes 3 seasons to get to adult Jason, it sounds like we will be able to see every iteration of Jason that we've had. Does that make you excited? Are you worried about Bryan Fuller? Maybe you weren't a fan of some of his work before, whether it's Hannibal or the Star Trek stuff. Whatever you think, let us know in the comments below, as we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or subscribing to the channel, as all we do is talk about movies, TV, and everything else we love in the world of entertainment. Make sure to come back on Friday for the Speed Force Media podcast, where we break down all of our favorite news in the world of comic book movies. And on Saturday, the return of Slasher Saturday, where we will be going over Friday the 13th, the very first film in celebration of this epic news, a film that my wife Eleanor has never seen. So if you would like to join us for that conversation, that will be on Saturday. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and until next time, bye-bye.